Alright, so I have the internals from two Miller and Kreisel VX-7 subwoofers sent in to me to be looked at. So let's go ahead and hook these up one at a time. I'll probably do a separate video on each unit as they may have different items that need to be repaired. So the customer did serialize them so I can make sure that the capacitor and transformers go on the right unit. Over here we have 503405, and he did actually make a note down here, 503405. And on this one, 504538. And down here, 504538. So let's go ahead and start with the lowest serial number, which is this unit. Let's just go ahead and power the unit up. I do have a speaker connected. I just heard a dull thud, which is great. So I want to go ahead and check the voltages on the capacitor board right here and just see what we have. So we have plus 35 volts. And minus 35 volts. That looks really good. Let's look for AC ripple. So I'm going to put the voltmeter in the AC range. And I see 0.06 volts on one and 0.06 volts on the other one. So those capacitors look like they're pretty good. Next, let's go ahead and just put a signal into it and see if we get some audio coming out of it. Okay, so I am feeding it a 100 hertz tone right now. I have the control turned all the way down right here. Let's go ahead and turn it up just a little bit. And so I'm actually looking at the AC voltage on the speaker terminals right here. And I'm not touching anything. And it's going all over the place. So that tells me that that pot is in need of service or possibly replacement. Because it's all over the place. There's the frequency, 99.93 hertz. So I'm going to kill the power. And based on the recommendation from one of my YouTube commenters, an X-Ray Tony B, I'm going to try some Deoxit Fader F5. So now X-Ray Tony B says I should not be using my Deoxit D5 on carbon potentiometers because they could potentially damage the carbon track. So we'll go ahead and give this Deoxit Fader F5 a try and see if we get better results with it. So I'll give it some spritzes, run this thing around a few times. And I'm going to stand it up and give it one more. Let it just drain out. You can see it kind of dripping across the bottom right here. We'll grab a paper towel and wipe that up real quick, and then we'll give it a test and see if it makes any kind of a difference. All right, here we go. Power on. Let's go ahead and run it up and see if we get smooth audio at this point. Well, I'd say that did the trick. Very smooth at this point with no cutouts whatsoever. So I think that was the problem. But just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and pull this board off. We'll disconnect the STK chip right here, and we'll go ahead and measure these 5 capacitors on this board and see if they're good, bad, or marginal and in need of replacement. I'm also going to go ahead and ESR the main filter caps right here at the same time. And we'll go ahead and retension the Molex connector. That has given us problems in the past. So let's go ahead and turn this up. We'll wiggle this a little bit and see if we get any kind of a change. I heard a pop. Yep. So, oh yeah. They are definitely in need of retensioning. So before I get started, I just want to make sure that these capacitors are either fully or mostly discharged. So I've got 0.15 volts on that one. And I've got 0.3 volts on that one. I just don't want to apply voltage to my capacitor checker. All right, so these are only 2900 microfarad 50 volt caps. And as you recall, they had about 35, almost 36 volts on them. So let's go ahead and do an ESR check. I'd expect to see maybe 0.01 or 0.02 on these to be acceptable. And we're kind of toggling between 0.01 and 0.02 on that one. So that one is perfectly fine. 0.01, 0.02 on that one as well. I'm happy with those. I don't think they need a replacement at this point. Okay, so I have all the capacitors marked. These two right here are the 220 microfarad caps, and then this one, and that one are the 10 microfarad caps. So let's go ahead and check them all one by one. I get 0.3 ohms on the 220, a little bit high in my book. And 0.15, that's a little bit better. And on the 10s, I'd like to see a couple ohms or less. And I see 74 ohms on that one. It is toast. 97 ohms on that one. Wow. It's like burnt toast. And 14 ohms on that one. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and recommend a replacement of all the capacitors in this unit, with the exception of the two main ones on the power supply. They tested absolutely perfectly. So just for reference, we'll go ahead and test the new capacitors. These are Nichicon 220s at 50 volts, and they're all 105 degrees Celsius rated caps. So the first one is 0.07. And the second one is 0.07. And now these are Kemet 10s at 25 volts. Once again, 105 degree rated caps. The first one is 0.52 ohms, perfectly fine. The next one is 0.50 ohms, I like that. And the last one, 0.52 ohms, perfectly fine. So those are all good, high quality, 105 degrees Celsius caps to replace the 85 degree Celsius caps that are in this unit. So let's go ahead and get those out and get the new ones installed, put it all back together. I think I'm gonna try to shoot some of the fader F5 down into this. It's the crossover frequency control pot. Hopefully some will get down in there and everything will be good. So I went ahead and marked that pot. Hopefully the Sharpie will stay intact while I try to spray this down in there. Hopefully some of it gets actually down into the working portion of the pot. We'll try to line it back up where it was. Sop up the excess, and let's go ahead and change those caps now. So in preparation for capacitor replacement, I'm just going to add some fresh solder on all these caps. And I think I'm going to just try to pull these out with heat this time. And then I'll use the solder sucker to actually clean the holes after I'm done. But as usual, I want to go ahead and add my marks to denote which one is actually the negative lead, because sometimes the silk screening is not right. If you watch my YouTube short video, you'll see that I got burned on my Radio Shack, I think it was a Pro 2004 scanner, that they had silk screened incorrectly. Okay, all the caps have been changed. I went ahead and resoldered the Molex connector as well. Next, just got to plug the power amplifier STK080 back into it, resolder all the speaker terminals, and I think this thing is going to be good to go. All right, there we go, all back together. Let's go ahead and retension the Molex plug now. And then, like I said, this thing should be ready to go back to my customer. All right, I think that's going to be just fine. Okay, all back together. Power is on. I see the red LED is illuminated here. And it sounds good. Keep in mind, I'm only using a little 6-inch speaker as the driver on this unit, so of course there's going to be a lot of distortion compared with the big box this thing normally goes into. Let's put some actual music into it and see what it sounds like. All right, well there it is, up and running. Sounds pretty good. Once again, considering I'm only using a little 6-inch speaker, definitely hear some bass coming out of it. But that's it, the repair on the first Miller and Kreisel VX-7 subwoofer. I certainly hope you enjoyed this video on the repair of the Miller and Kreisel subwoofer internals. Go ahead and leave me a question, a comment, a concern down below, good or bad. I try to respond to the comments when I have time. While you're down there, hit that subscribe button and like this video. It really does help my channel grow. You can follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at NorCal715. You can email me, norcal715videos@gmail.com. That is the best way to contact me. Please be patient. I do have a full-time job and I do this in my spare time. Remember, with your help, we can try to keep these things out of the landfill, out of the recycle bin, and out of the e-waste facility. Everybody, thank you for making it to the end of this video. I really do appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, little bonus footage, testing the capacitors out of circuit, just for the heck of it. That one's not too terribly bad, 0.15. The other 220 is 0.38. That one's a little bit high. I could probably live with the 0.15. Now the 10s, these things tested absolutely terrible in circuit. 17 ohms, 16 ohms, that thing is toast. Remember, we had extra toast and burnt toast. $95 ohms. I'm warming this up with my hand, so that's why the capacitance is actually dropping. And 82, 81, 80, as it warms up, the capacitance definitely does drop. Those things are history. Well, I think I made the right choice to go ahead and just replace all of these capacitors in the unit. Thank you for watching the bonus footage. I really do appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. Bye-bye.